What's up, Reds? Welcome back to another Sunday summary. And man, I'm pumped to get into this one today. I got Steve with me. And then, Steve, before I even get started, how did Bruno Fernandes get into the team of the year?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't even see that.
All right, so let me just break it down for
And
you, okay? It was like Liverpool had some good showing. We had like 5-6 players in there.
Mhm.
Trying to remember who else. I think Seung-Chu made it in the team or something. And the midfield, Bruno Fernandes was in there. Bruno Fernandes played 5 games.
Who picked this?
It was BBC, I think, or Sky Sports, one of the two, but it was voted by the fans. So, Man
I'm,
United fans definitely just hijacked that.
well, I'm going to assume he was the only Man United player.
Yeah, pretty sure. I'll have to pull it up like in a second, but I just had to throw that out there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This man got into the team of the year. But that's the kind of the bias voting. But anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way first.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I like Bruno Fernandes, but he literally has been in the Premier League for like a month worth
Yeah,
of
that's like
games.
putting Minamino in the team of the year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we got a lot of cool stuff to get into. The main thing, of course, is Melwood's reopening and Project Restart is underway. They're trying to get back into training by May 18th is the reports that I'm hearing. So stick around for that. We'll get into that at the end. But let's get into some of the news that just keeps developing over the week. So apparently, well, first off, Jurgen Klopp, congrats to him, BBC Manager of the Year, and then Jordan Henderson, BBC Player of the Year. Well deserved. Well deserved.
1,000%. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. I mean, Klopp is a no-brainer. Henderson may have had some competition, but he's been the engine that's driven Liverpool to be undoubtedly the best team in England and probably the world this year specifically.
Yeah, no question. No
I mean,
question.
I think Trent got some votes. Van Dijk got some votes, rightfully so. Trent's just, I mean, Virgil's so good all the time. It's going to turn into like a LeBron type situation where like he may not win player of the year on like a regular basis because he's just so good all the time. Like when you think about LeBron, he's the best player in the league every single year, but like he doesn't win MVPs because he's
We'll
just at
save that.
such a
We'll
high
save that
level.
debate for another day. We'll save
Yeah.
that debate for- All
But
right.
yeah, well deserved by both of them.
Absolutely, man. It's Henderson's time too. I mean, seriously, it was about time that he got it because his work ethic and the effort he puts in, the contributions to the team, the intangibles, unbelievable. So that's good. Proud, happy for both of them, really. And now, of course, Timo Werner. So now there's news that the release clause will decrease by 10 million if Leipzig don't win the title, right? So with the Bundesliga returning, or at least attempting to return, say Leipzig end up winning the league, that release clause stays the same, but then it drops if they don't win the title. And then, what I've heard is the release clause actually expires too. So I think this is a win-win. Either we're going to wait out the contract itself, or we just kind of pray that they don't win the league, and then the release clause goes down by 10 million, and we can buy them that way. But even if the release clause, or I'm hoping the release clause expires, and then Michael Edwards works his magic, gets a good deal.
Yeah, I think either way he's coming. Like I don't even think he fits anywhere else. I was thinking about it, and like every other team has a striker. Like every other major team has an out and out striker. Like we don't.
Except for maybe, I mean, Chelsea do, but they're young, and then is it Giroud's? He's old,
Yeah, he's
it's
gone anyways. He's not. I think he's at Inter
okay. Yeah, I haven't
or
even
on loan
been
maybe.
keeping up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's coming either way. I haven't really been following the contract stuff to be honest, but Michael Edwards will get it done if Klopp wants it to come. He'll
Yeah.
get it done. We have plenty of
Yeah.
money, so.
And those are the two contracts well, really it's Timo Werner and Koulibaly are making their rounds this past week. And Koulibaly keeps picking up steam. I don't think it's going to happen. I just can't see Klopp bringing in another like top class center back next to Van Dijk. I mean, if he does, that's awesome. You know what I mean? You were talking about it last week. Imagine looking up and seeing Koulibaly and Van Dijk and just not wanting to attack ever.
Scary.
Yeah. So more news with Project Restart. So like I mentioned, May 18th is the day they want to begin training. Of course, some teams are implementing it now, but some changes will be afoot when they resume the season. So 5 substitutions is the big one. So they're going to allow teams to make 5 substitutions. This could be for a number of reasons. This could be for safety, limiting exposure, but it could also, I think it's more so because players aren't in shape like they used to be. They've been isolated at home. You can only get in so much shape at home. You know what I mean? What do you think about 5 substitutions per match?
I think it makes sense. I don't think anyone's going to be bothered by it. It's also like selfishly, I'm going to enjoy it because we get to see different players get off the bench.
Exactly.
Assuming we're winning in these games late in the games, bring in, some of those guys we haven't really gotten a large enough sample size from. And I think the other thing is they have to do it in 3 batches or less. I don't think you can stop the game 5 times to bring a sub on.
I see what you're saying.
Because
yeah.
people would manipulate the time and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain it has to be done within 3 substitutions.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense. You're right, because people already manipulate the clock anyway. So, yeah, five stoppages, it would just be too much.
Right.
Yeah. So, and now the big news, right? So let's get into it. Melwood is reopening, okay? So let me give you a little bit of a rundown, and then you can give me your thoughts on it. So essentially, the thought behind reopening Melwood, it's going to be in stages. So the first stage, of course, Melwood has 3 fields, so it's a relatively small training ground when you compare it to other big teams. So 3 Liverpool players at a time will be allowed in the facility, 1 on each field. I believe they're going to be doing it in hour intervals, so they'll do like an hour running session. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. I think that's it. I don't think there's any coaches allowed there, like no coaches on site, no trainers or anything like that. But as long as the players abide by the social distancing laws, 3 can be there at a time. And then, of course, I'm assuming they're going to try to implement more participation over time. So that's interesting considering how many people are in the first team. 3 people at a time. Yeah. But with the league Project Restart, they want to resume training on May 18th, and then June 8th is the date they want to start up again. So with 3 people at a time, I don't know how they're going to be able to get all the people in shape and ready for game day.
Well, I know I watched Harvey Elliott's behind-the-scenes look into their training regimen. He did like a Zoom call with somebody the other day, and he said that they're following like strict training guidelines. They're reporting their heart rates, and I don't know. I'm sure they're like wearing monitors maybe or like tracking all of their exercise. But that's going back to all the team doctors and the trainers. So they're not out of shape per se. They're probably not in game shape. But, I mean, a couple weeks could really turn that around. Like, they're not going to be in the best shape of their lives, but they'll be in good enough shape to be able to play, especially since they haven't stopped at this point. The other thing is it'll be 3 players allowed in at a time for a duration of 1 hour, and the doctors will be there.
Doctors will be
no coaches, no trainers. Doctors will be there, just in case.
Yeah, of course. So you got to abide by safety guidelines too. Yeah, there's no chance that these world-class athletes are out of shape, but they're deconditioned and they're not necessarily ready to go 90 minutes in Klopp's pressing style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just can't simulate that at home. Like, what are you going to do?
No.
Like, back and forth in your backyard?
Yeah, sprint to the
for
kitchen.
98 minutes?
Yeah. Have your wife time it. Like, what minute am I at?
Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah. So, of course, Melwood voluntarily closed on March 13th. So these guys have been out of commission for a while now. But we've seen Salah loves to post pictures of himself staying in shape. You know what I mean? So we know Salah's in shape. We know they're doing yoga sessions, Zoom sessions and all that. So I think the camaraderie is still there. It's just a matter of getting them back into game shape. So I think obviously they're going to have custom plans for when each player goes to the field, and they'll have to carry out those hour training sessions. And then I don't know if they're allowed to stay in the actual facility while other players use the field, or if it's 3 max. Like you could have 2 on the field, 1 in the facility, and vice versa. I just that's all I know. I don't know if 3 people up until May 18th I just don't see May 18th being the day where everyone starts to come back. I mean, that's in like 10 days.
Yeah, less.
Yeah. Like, what are they going to do? How are you going to have 3 people and then all of a sudden May 18th comes around and they're like, all right, everyone show up? I just don't see.
It's so premature, this
Yeah.
whole thing. I hate to say it, but the league should start in July. How many games are left?
9, right?
Start in July, run it through September, give them a 2-week break, start the Premier League season in October. Maybe reduce the breaks that the players get, drag the season out to closer to June rather than May. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. It's early. I couldn't even imagine myself going near somebody else right now.
no, bro. I
And
still.
they're gonna have to play in a month.
It just doesn't make sense. Of
Physical,
course,
physical in close quarters. It's gonna be interesting.
yeah, it's interesting. And
Better them than me.
all the reports, the doctors, they're obviously teams are expressing concerns with this, and you cannot blame them at all. But I think the biggest thing is, and I've come to realize this as they keep trying to push the league to restart, is it's about money. Like,
Yes.
all they care about is money at this point. And there's a lot of pressure from obviously the fans to finish, but there's a lot of pressure from sponsors, TV deals, a lot. I mean, I don't think people are thinking rationally about it, because you said, and I completely agree. When I go out in public, I'm not like overdoing it. Like, I'm not wearing trash bags over my head or anything, but I'm going out and I'm like cautious of what I touch. I'm washing my hands as soon as I get back. You know, it's, taking all my clothes off and putting them in the hamper and changing when I get back. Things like that, that you can't, how are they going to monitor all that? And how are the players not going to be affected mentally? You've got to be scared as a player. Say they're not comfortable coming back and then they start playing and they're forced to not social distance during games. They don't know all these other players, what they're exposed to at home, what they're doing on their free time. You know what I mean? So that kind of gets into the whole quarantine thing that we were talking about last week. Are they going to do it in a hotel, or are they going to have those neutral venues? I'm hearing rumors there's 9 venues that they're going to play at.
I doubt Anfield will be one of them.
No, of course not. They've got
Everything
to be,
in London.
yeah, of course. And you know what else I'm hearing? I'm hearing London. The London lockdown isn't even a thing. People are just running the streets. But again, it's a metropolis. Like, there's a lot of people. So why, I don't understand why people can't just stay home until you're given the okay to leave.
I don't know. It should be interesting. We're gonna find out. But I think like this whole thing could come crashing down if like one player has tested positive for the coronavirus.
And so another thing, Bundesliga, they've been training. So they have about 1,700 players in the top 2 leagues with all the teams. 10 of them have tested positive. So this was a report I did, or in the video I did Wednesday. So with 10 players testing positive, how does that not freak you out when those 10 players weren't positive a couple weeks ago? You know what I mean? So who knows who else could be infected? And that, like you said, it could all come crashing down with the Premier League. The Premier League could do the same thing, and then one person gets infected, boom, it's over. Everyone's sick. Players are sitting out games, and it would be a disaster if this thing just rolled out and players are just getting sick and teams are having to sit out their stars and play. Could you imagine if Harvey Elliott, Rhian Brewster, and freaking Curtis Jones had to start because Salah, Mane, and Firmino got sick?
No, I'm saying if someone gets sick, the league is over.
But yeah, and that's the thing. The risk there, I don't understand. If the likelihood of one player getting sick is so high, why would you risk it now?
Well, I think these decisions are also made based on like data as well. So like the curve is on its way down over there. They're going to monitor the players. The other thing is like if someone does test positive, it could spoil the whole thing. So they know what a risk it is opening things back up for games and the season and training. They're not, they're a lot smarter than me and you. So to them,
they're definitely smarter than you. That's for sure.
To them, it's worth the risk to get it started at the date they chose. So like we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, we could speculate all day, but who knows? Maybe it'll go smooth. Maybe nothing will go wrong.
But isn't speculation part of the fun? Like,
It is.
you know what
It
I mean?
is. I just want to get there. I'm tired of thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of talking about it. But at the same time, it's like the thrill of not knowing what's going to happen is actually kind of like
I just want to
satisfying.
turn on NBC Sports Network at 6:59 a.m. So angry because I'm up early, and then just see the boys run out onto the field.
It just makes everything better. Everything
So
better.
worth it.
Yeah.
And just beat Man City. We have them coming up. They're like the third or fourth game, I think.
I want to smash City. Like, I'm talking like 7-0. Oh my gosh. That would just
Yeah.
be the best way to restart the season.
By the way,
whoa, so go ahead.
I was going to say, by the way, do you remember when I told you De Bruyne was leaving?
I do.
He's going to leave.
I'm not
Rumors swirling already. He doesn't want to just play in the Premier League against a team that's far better than him. What are the chances of them winning the Premier League next year? Really solid chance.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get worse. We're only going to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
We destroyed them, and we're up 25 points on them. They're going to lose Sane. They're going to lose a couple other players.
No, look, Man City's on the way down, right? They've been since like 2014, 2013, they've been a powerhouse, right? And they've been solid every single year, competing for titles every single year, okay, except for the couple years with Chelsea. But you're right. De Bruyne's going to leave. You can't blame him. He's at that age where he's like entering the back nine of his prime, and he doesn't want to play for a team that's suspended from European football. So you can't blame him for leaving. And on top of that, Pep Guardiola, there's no way – I don't care what Pep says. I just don't see Pep staying much longer at the club, especially – he's just a short tenure manager. You know, he comes in, he gets a job done. He's won a treble. I mean, I don't see – it wouldn't be bad if he left. It'd be great news for Liverpool. I just don't see City having the infrastructure in place to hold on to all these players. They're definitely going to go. I don't care how much you pay them. But, yeah, it basically comes down to the UEFA decision and Man City being on a not, plummeting, but just on a downward trend line because Liverpool are so dominant right now.
Yeah, if I was him, I would leave, personally. Like you said, he's still in his prime. He battled injuries last year, but he's back now, strong as ever. It's not – how can you pour your heart and soul into like a season knowing that, your club is under punishment? You're never going to play on those magical Champions League European nights. And you just play once a week, like every Saturday you have a game.
Yeah, and for him,
a random English team.
You're right. And for his caliber of player, he needs to be playing in Europe.
He deserves better, yes.
100%. I think Kevin De Bruyne deserves to play on a team competing for a Champions League trophy. There's no question.
Yeah, I just have a hard time picturing him anywhere else.
That's a good point. Because what did he went from Wolfsburg to Chelsea to Wolfsburg, and then City bought him from Wolfsburg, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so it's not like he's bouncing around like Coutinho to all these top teams. He's been at City for so long. Yeah, I think the English players will stay there. I don't think Sterling's going anywhere. He just signed a new deal. I'd see Laporte staying. Obviously he's not English, but John Stones, all these guys, they'll probably stay. But yeah, man, De Bruyne's gone. But Liverpool, there's no other way. There's no reason to leave. There's literally zero reason to leave, unless you're Lovren or Lallana. You know what I mean? But and another thing I want to bring up. So we were talking about the Wijnaldum contract before last week. But Wijnaldum, the news I heard is that he doesn't want a long-term deal, I think. He wants a shorter-term deal because he wants to end his career where he started in the Dutch league. So he doesn't want a 5-year deal tying him down till he's what is he, 29, 30 until he's 34, 35. So with that in mind, do you think Michael Edwards will cave and give him a short-term deal?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
He's earned it. Why not?
We're
We're not trying to trap anybody here. Best team in the world. He's a starter. Keep him. He's not going to demand $400K a week.
No, that's another thing, man. We don't. Go ahead.
He's not an expensive player. Like, he'll make great money, of course, but I think who knows what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Literally, we don't know.
No one has any idea.
Anything. Nothing at all, bro. Literally.
We can call those guys over in France. They know.
We know nothing, man. For all we know, Wijnaldum signed a contract last month, all right? And he's still at the club. We know nothing. And people are just – I'm convinced this Koulibaly thing is a sham, all right? Hopefully I don't eat my words. Watch us sign Koulibaly tomorrow. But I'm telling you, it's not real. I don't think it's real, man. We have too much talent at that center back position to bring in Koulibaly.
Has James Pearce or anyone reputable mentioned this?
I haven't looked to see if James Pearce or anyone has mentioned it. I have seen reports from reputable sources, though, that we are in talks. But in talks could mean just inquiring about the player. It doesn't mean that we want him or anything. It's just maybe checking on his availability, seeing what his contract situation is. Because players are constantly looking for players who are expiring contracts, unhappy, or on a team that's not doing well. So with that comes lower value, which means you pay less. So I think they're looking for that. But with Koulibaly, you're not going to pay less. You're definitely looking at 80 plus, no question.
We have it.
Well, we have it, but probably
we didn't spend $1 last year or a pound.
Think about that. I was thinking about this the other day. If we didn't spend a single pound last summer, the amount of money we have just waiting to be spent is astronomical. We could, if we wanted to, we won't. We could bring in an Mbappe if we wanted to.
Easy.
No,
we could bring in Mbappe and De Bruyne and Koulibaly.
Could you?
But that wouldn't be Liverpool. That would be Real Madrid, a circus.
I completely.
There's nothing authentic about that. I could see Mbappe coming, spending a long time here because he's young. He's played at PSG and Monaco, but he hasn't given a long, a long run to any organization. It's like taking De Bruyne from Man City is what? Weird. It just doesn't feel right.
We're not that club to buy players at their peak, really. I think the exception, I really think the exception, Virgil and Alisson were not at their peak when we bought them. We made them into their peak, but they were still world-class players, or at least Alisson was.
Yeah,
Van Dijk was at – what's that?
Van Dijk, I knew he was good, but we definitely – when we signed him, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He ended up being worth 2 times as much, but we've definitely created both of their peak performance for sure. Well, not we, Klopp.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding too, because all of our players that we bought initially, all of our production players, Salah, Mane, Firmino, all of them under 40 million pounds. Maybe Salah was right at 40, but Firmino 29, unbelievable business. Mane 36 or something like
They're
that.
They're all worth 140, 180.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And I couldn't see Liverpool spending 150, 175 or whatever the value would be to bring in De Bruyne when he's 29, 28. I just don't see it because first off, where's he going to play? Where?
Unless you push Bobby forward and put him right behind Bobby. I mean, there's no spot for him.
There's zero spot for him. There's barely spots for Keita, and I need Keita to just turn up this season.
He could. I mean, De Bruyne would start. They'd plug him in somewhere. center attacking mid in front of Henderson and Fabinho or Henderson and Wijnaldum, but like we just don't. It's like it's funny because like we've complained for 3-4 years, no, not even 2 years since Coutinho left or whatever. We need that center attacking mid. Like I don't view De Bruyne as the answer.
No.
Just because, like, of course, he comes in, we're better. He's an incredible player. But I just don't view him, like, as a Liverpool player. Like, it would just feel fake, if you will.
Yeah, and of course, there are reports of him saying he's a Liverpool fan, or he was a Liverpool fan and all that nonsense. But yeah, he's not. I don't see him. There's just too many factors at play. His age, his salary. He would definitely be getting paid more than Van Dijk because I don't think a single Liverpool player is on more than like 210,000 a week. Because we don't pay our we don't spoil our players. I'm sure in the contracts there's incentives and stuff. But when you come to Liverpool, you know that you're getting paid very fair and definitely above average. You're getting paid your worth, but you're also going to have a chance to fight for titles, for trophies, all that stuff. And the environment is just world class. I mean, Klopp has created a team that every player just absolutely loves being a part of.
I agree. Does that remind you of any other sports franchises?
I really
like not overpaying, challenging for titles.
I hope you're not going to say the Pats.
The New England Patriots, ladies and gentlemen, for all you viewers around the globe.
They're trash.
Patriots.
They're trash.
We're going to find out. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. So that sums up all the topics for this week. I mean, Steve, do you have any thoughts on anything, man? Like you said, I am literally just waiting for this to come back. I'm waiting for some videos to be released of players training. I'm waiting for schedules to come out. Man.
Yeah. I don't know if I have too much to add. I think this was good banter, but
it's good banter.
Yeah. Liverpool's coming back soon, man, and it's going to be fun. They just need it to happen like yesterday.
Yeah.
I just want to watch Bobby in particular.
I miss Bobby, man.
I know.
So much.
He was just, before the season ended, like he was just doing things, like the skills he was showing off were just outrageous.
Unbelievable.
Those quick 1-2s in the box, like, oh man.
And Bobby is one of those players, man, where he'll have a game where he just decides, hey, I'm just going to be flashy today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then other days he has games where he's like, all right, I'm just going to press everybody, win the ball back, get a couple assists. It's going to be a good game. But yeah, man, when Bobby is on his game, he is one of the most fun players in the world to watch.
Easy. The other thing I'm excited about is Alisson will be healthy. Well, everyone will be healthy, but Alisson will be healthy. And Mo Salah got back into form right before, it was leading up until COVID-19 came. So, and he's got some ground to make up on that golden boot. That's what he's looking for. I mean, I think Vardy's still in the lead.
Yeah, I think it's like Vardy, Salah. Ings is in that top 5.
Danny Ings is one of the greatest players I've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
What a player. I'm going to check the rankings right now.
Yeah, I think Danny Ings has 14 or 15 goals, and he's in 4th or 5th. And I think Salah's in 2nd or 3rd with 20. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong. Vardy's got 19. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 17. Aguero, 16. Mane, 16. I'm sorry, Salah, 16. So
where's Danny Ings? Where's Danny Ings?
I'm going to let you know right now.
I guarantee you it's 14.
When was this? I just want to make sure this is...
You're probably looking at freaking 2018 stats.
March 9th. Vardy, number 1 in 2018. Are you crazy? There we go. Let me pull this up.
Danny Ings is the best striker in the Premier League.
Yeah. All right, sorry. We're dealing with some technical difficulties here. Okay. All
Let me
right.
see.
This is what it looks like. 1920. Hopefully this is correct. Vardy 19. Salah. Mohamed Salah Ghali 17. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang 17. Aguero 16. Danny Ings 15.
Oh, 15. Let's go.
Sadio Mane 14. Rashford, Abraham 14 each.
Oh, I thought you were
Calvert-Lewin,
saying
13.
Rashford Abraham like the full name. I was like, that's not his name.
Sterling, Kane, Pookie, Chris Wood, Martial, all 11.
Man,
De Bruyne's got 9.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm pumped for everything to come back, and I want Salah, to make that final push for the Golden Boot, man. I think once everything comes back, it's gonna be so weird. Like I feel like the game is gonna change. Like it's gonna be very exciting. I think defenses aren't gonna be quite up to speed. There's gonna be a lot of goals. Man, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Poor time to be a left back against Liverpool.
Yeah. Poor time to be a
Salah
left
is
back.
he is just on a mission to win that Golden Boot. We know him. He's a little selfish. He wants that. Great guy, great teammate, but he wants to be. He's going to come back and try to get a hat trick every single game, and I can't wait to see it.
Can't blame him. And I've given this some thought because Salah pisses me off sometimes, man. But you want your striker, because he's essentially a striker. He just plays on the wing, to be selfish. You know what I mean? Like, look at Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge was always ripping shots. Like, the first touch, he would just shoot. Which
I love it.
Yeah, you're like, okay, that's cool. But, I don't know. It's just when you have Mane wide open in the box and you're ripping one from outside the box, it's kind of like, you should probably pass it. But, yeah. All right, Steve, I appreciate you joining me.
Of course.
And, of course, as the news comes out, guys, I'll be making videos. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then, Steve, appreciate you coming on, man.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.